walking robots, unmanned ground sensors and surveillance towers, and reconnaissance blimps abound. Not to mention satellites of an unprecedented variety, large and small, in high and low orbit around Earth. Government funding for drones and other unmanned systems increased from about $350 million at the time of 9/11 to well over $5 billion a year by 2013. Even with defense budget reductions that come from the end of two wars, that spending is projected to surpass $4.5 billion annually through 2018. Though one might conclude from the global drone debate that the United States is the sole owner of aerial unmanned vehicles, 88 other nations also operate drones, and 54 nations manufacture their own. Italy and the United Kingdom fly their own Predator-type drones. The European countries, propelled by their involvement in Afghanistan and Iraq, built up an inventory of over 3,500 unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, in a decade of fighting. France has even flown its own lethal drone missions in Africa. Smaller countries strapped for manpower, but heavily invested in their militaries: Israel, Taiwan, South Korea, Singapore, and the United Arab Emirates, to name a few, play an outsized role in unmanned research, development, and adoption. The unlikeliest of U.S. allies in the war against terror, Burundi, Uganda, Yemen, and of course Afghanistan and Iraq, fly American-made drones. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea have healthy unmanned programs and innumerable growing inventories. And all these countries don't just have the drones. China uses them to spy on Japan near disputed islands in Asia. Bolivia uses them to spot coca fields in the Andes. Hamas and the Palestinian territories and the Lebanon-based Hezbollah state within a state both have and have used Iranian-made drones. Hamas, even armed ones. Even NATO ally Turkey pilots drones that increasingly cross its borders neighbors, American style. Meanwhile, the unmanned civilian market quickly evolves into law enforcement, scientific research, industrial and consumer services, education, and even entertainment. Border agencies and local police have begun emulating their military brethren and acquiring drones not just for bomb disposal and other dangerous missions, but also for intelligence collection and surveillance. UAVs are playing greater and greater roles in agriculture, in weather forecasting, in identifying and locating forest fires and oil pipeline leaks, in assisting archaeological and environmental research, and in relaying radio signals, and are increasingly present in businesses from real estate to journalism. Like the military, the civilian unmanned world is also not just in the skies. Rovers explore the planets and the universe. Unmanned undersea vehicles abound, whether the Jacques Cousteau sort or mini-subs like the one that discovered the wreckage of Amelia Earhart's airplane, lost for almost 100 years. Self-driving cars are almost in the rearview mirror. Google's experimental versions have already covered 500,000 miles under computer control. Wheeled and walking robots are no longer just the stuff of gladiator competitions and science fairs. They are increasingly smarter and more adaptive and flexible, and are now taking up regular jobs, dispensing medications and even teaching languages. Scores of universities are acquiring their own unmanned vehicles, beefing up their robotics and aerial vehicle programs, some chasing the almighty dollar in homeland and national security grants, but many just hungry to pursue the final frontier. And who hasn't seen the news stories about novelty drones delivering pizza, about Facebook buying its own fleet of internet-in-the-sky drones, or about the promised fleet of Amazon super primes supplanting the Postal Service and UPS? Civilian technologies and potential commercial applications have expanded so much and so rapidly that it is no longer the military that is driving technology development in this field, not even after a decade and a half of war. To many, this is just the arc of the future, with efficiency and a level of network interconnectedness merely paralleling the Internet of Things, a set of machines literally doing the repetitive and dirty work.